Hi, I'm Clover from Oklahoma. Please like and subscribe. I was born to a busy doctor mom who spent most of her days treating patients and performing surgeries. She loved her work so much that when I was about to come into this world, she was busy delivering other babies, and the nurses had to pull her out to deliver me first.
She's so pretty, like a snowflake.
I was born with blue eyes and white hair, unlike anyone in my entire family, and wherever we'd go, everyone would stare at me.
What a unique kid. You should have her tested. Maybe she's an X-Men with mutant DNA.
Oh, go away. Listening to such stupid people and seeing how mom got scared for me every time. I decided to fix things on my own. I took some paint colors and decided to color my hair all brown.
Oh, Clover, what are you doing, honey?
I don't like strangers coming up to me all the time. Mom, I want to fix it myself so I can be normal like the others.
Sweetie, you are normal and you don't have to change anything about yourself for anyone.
But they just keep bothering me.
Then give them time. When people see something they're not used to, they get excited, but over time they'll get over it, trust me.
To my delight, I discovered what mom said was true when I started school. At first, all the kids would stare at me, but then they all wanted to be my friend. By the time I was 14, guys would go crazy over me, and even though I secretly liked all the attention, but I wanted to focus more on myself and my studies. So I worked my butt off and got into the best high school in Texas. But when I told mom this, she shocked me with something even bigger. She was going to volunteer in a small village in South Africa and asked me to move in with my aunt who also lived in Texas. My aunt? How come I've never heard of her after all these years?
That's because she ran away to marry a super rich guy and got in touch with me only recently.
But why her mom? And how am I going to live without you?
The place I'm going to is very remote with almost no communication with the outside world. That's why I want you to stay with family who can look after you when I'm not here. And you're all grown up, honey. There's a world out there you need to explore on your own.
Mom hugged me tight, but I really wasn't excited about her leaving like this. Days after mom left, I took a flight to my aunt's place. But when I reached the address mom gave me, I caught the shock of my life. My aunt wasn't rich. Instead, she lived in a very small house, and when I knocked on the house door, a pan came flying at my face.
Oh, darling, I am so sorry. It's just this bratty daughter of mine. She keeps throwing nasty fits. You come on in.
She took me inside and I could see this house hadn't been cleaned in ages. Yikes!
It's just a pet. Don't freak out, princess.
Freak out? I wanted to run from this place, especially because I had to share a room with Nasty Mia, and she was the most unhygienic of all.
So what's with the white hair? Does it get you the boys?
I think I can.
Okay, now take the couch and don't fart all night.
She was sick, but there was nowhere else I could go now, so I decided to make this place my home, and these people my family like mom had asked me. The next morning, before Aunt and MIA woke up, I cleaned the entire place to give them a surprise, but when I returned from school, the house was all upside down again. You guys, I worked all night to clean this place.
Well, who asked you to do it in any way? I couldn't find any of my stuff with everything so tidy, so I messed it all back up.
This girl was such a nuisance. I almost wanted to call mom and tell her to come back, but that's when I learned that mom got stuck because a serious illness broke out in the area where she was working. And the government in that state announced an emergency and sealed it. So when's mom going to come back and is she okay?
Yeah, she's safe, but I have no idea when she'll be back. Now tell me, did you clean the house all by yourself? Your mom told me you can cook too. And did she give you any money?
And even though my heart kept sinking thinking about mom, my aunt would keep me busy with the house chores. And just like that, I became alive and made for these people. And Mia and I became like siblings who quarreled all the time. What did you do with my boots?
I sold them for $40 at school.
They cost more than $400. Oh, you're so stupid. She'd even have wild parties at home just before my test to annoy me, and my aunt would sleep peacefully on the couch. God knows how she managed to run the house without money. She didn't give me any allowance, and I decided it was time to make my own money, so I took up a job at a local salon. But then one evening while I was on my way back home, rain started pouring and I started to run. But just then, a car came and stopped right in front of me.
Camilla, get in.
I kept ignoring him because that wasn't my name, but the guy kept following me in his car and then stepped out. I turned around to hit him, but he held my hand firmly.
Hey, chill. Look, I'm not going to force you to come back with me, but just listen to me once, okay?
Look, sir, I think you're mistaken. I'm not Camilla.
It can't be. You both look so similar. God, is that your real hair?
He then apologized to me and went away, but only after a few seconds he came back running. What now?
I can at least drop you at home. It's terrible weather and I'd like to apologize for my misunderstanding.
He seemed like a nice guy, and because of the rain, I decided to take the lift. But on our way home, he showed me pictures of this girl who looked just like me. What's this did? You photoshopped these. And then he told me something shocking. This girl was a model, but she ran away. And ever since then, he's been searching for her. But I'm not her.
I know. That's why I want your help until I find her. Do you think you can work in her place? And I'll pay you a lot.
Me? I can hardly walk properly in slippers. I'm no model.
But I can teach you. Look, I don't want to force you, but I took advance payments and Camilla ran away with all the money now. If you won't do the shows, I'll have to refund triple the amount and I'll go broke.
I felt bad for him. But I had school and even mom wasn't around, so I politely refused. But then a few days later, when I woke up, I saw all the stuff was put out in the garden for an auction sale. Mia, what the heck are you doing with all my stuff?
Making more money out of it. Your mom's gone and we have no idea when she's coming back. You can't just stay with us for free, so who wants this shawl?
Hey, that's my mom's. Give it to me. We both pulled it apart and went flying in different directions with the shawl ripping into pieces. I felt terrible seeing this and just wanted to move out now. So I called up James, the guy in the car, and took his offer on one condition that he'd let me continue with school, and he agreed. He took me to the modeling agency dressed as Camilla, and later that night when I was in bed, I heard a knock on my window. James, what are you doing here?
I'm grateful that you agreed to do this, Clover, so I bought you this.
I stuffed my mouth knowing I had to go on a diet from the next day. But from then onwards, James would sneak into my room every night and teach me how to act like Camilla, along with how to pose and walk like a model. He'd even picked me up and dropped me back at school, and we'd have so much fun together that it felt like I had a new best friend that I could trust. Then, on the day of my first ramp show, I was getting dressed in the green room when I heard a familiar voice. I went out to check and saw Mia was yelling at James.
If you don't pay me the rest of the money now, I'm going to tell her the truth.
Here, take this for now. I'll pay you the rest later.
James went off, but I couldn't help thinking what all of this was about. Mia, what are you doing here and what's this money for?
Why should I tell you, smarty princess? Didn't Mama teach you to be street smart and not get used?
Get used? What do you mean?
He paid me to make things difficult for you at home after he met you, so you take his offer. He followed you that night and knew you lived in my house, so we talked.
You're lying.
Of course that's what you'll think, because you've always thought of yourself as someone superior to me and as a fool because I lived in poverty.
There was no way she was right about this, so I immediately went to James and confronted him about this.
I'm sorry, Clover, but I just wanted you to take the offer desperately and I couldn't think of anything else.
But why? Why would you do that?
I don't want to gain sympathy, Clover, but the truth is, I have a chronic disease and I need lots of money for the treatment.
James, I'm sorry to hear this, but I'm not yet sure if this justifies what you did, man.
I know I just wanted to save my life, Clover. I know it was wrong and I couldn't live with myself knowing I had tricked you into this. But I'm glad the truth came out and it's okay if you leave, but...
I'm not leaving.
What? Look, I don't want you to think of me as some charity case.
No, it's not charity. What you did was wrong. But ever since, you've just been nice to me and I want to help you, James. He hugged me tight, and then I rushed to the stage because I was already late for the show. But the minute I got onto the stage, I realized there was something wrong with my dress. Thankfully, the model right behind me saw this and helped me cover it, and the show was a super hit. James took me out to celebrate and he looked so happy.
God, you were breathtaking today, and so many people wanted to sign you for more modeling jobs, but I refused since you have school.
What? No, you should have taken the offers.
But Clover, I don't want you to compromise on something you love. Besides, I told you it'd only be a few shows and then you can go back to your previous life.
But what if I don't want to? I love doing what I do right now, and this isn't for anyone else but me. So you should take the offers, James. That brought the brightest smile on his face. And from then onward, I started working harder. I did 2 more shows for big brands. But then one day, something bizarre happened. As I walked out of the changing space, I got the shock of my life. Camilla, what? What are you doing here?
What are you doing here? I saw you on the TV and magazines pretending to be me. Why the heck would you do that?
Because you ran away with James's money and he needed help.
That's a pathetic lie. I ran because James is the biggest jerk on the planet. He used cheap tricks to get me into the spotlight, like messing with my wardrobe, and then wanted to make me do cheap shows for good money that he could make.
What are you saying?
Tell me none of that has ever happened to you, and he didn't use some cheap tricks to gain your sympathy. He's a big liar and crazy about money. He tricked me into signing some bad modeling projects, and when I refused to do them, he threatened me legally. That's why I ran away.
All of a sudden, the ground beneath my feet shifted, and I felt devastated. But I knew I couldn't be weak now, and I had to come up with a plan to teach this jerk a lesson. There was one person I knew who could help me come up with an evil scheme, but she wasn't going to do it for free.
So now the smarty pants princess needs my help. Yeah, the jerk didn't pay me the amount we agreed on. Can you imagine someone conning Mia, the queen of conning? And yeah, I'll help you. And I expect payment, so I want every penny you have saved up. And I want a foot massage.
Fine, as long as you take a bath for once. We came up with a plan, and then a few days later, James came up to me with a bunch of documents.
Just like you said, I took on those projects, and now we just need to sign the paper.
Oh, that's amazing. Did you sign them already?
Yeah, I did.
Perfect. Now let's put this on and let's get you on the ramp.
Camilla, what? What nonsense?
It's the same thing you've been doing to the other models all this time. Now it's your turn.
What do you mean?
These papers that you signed say that you owe us 2 times the money that you earned from all these projects. And if you fail to pay, you'll go to jail.
What? How's this possible, these papers?
I changed them. It broke into your office while Clover distracted you and changed these. Easy peasy.
And I paid her to do that. I'm sorry, but I was desperate too. He tried to run away, but Camilla had called the cops in time and he got caught. As he was being taken away, Mia turned to us.
Now try to be a little more careful next time. Both of you idiots.
You're right. Thanks for your help, Mia.
And Clover, I want the money you promised to give me. Also, I have something to tell you, but no drama or I'll slap you. My mom called and said, your mom is back and with my mom.
Please, please leave me alone.
Mom ran down the dark corridor looking for a place to hide, turning every doorknob that she came to. Finally, a door gave way and she crouched in a corner, but it was too late.
Stay away from me. Stay away.
Hey, I'm Anastasia. My friends call me Anna, but my parents call me.
Stay away from me!
R.
Leave me alone!
Okay, I was being a little dramatic at the start of the video. Mom wasn't actually scared. This is how it really played out.
Mommy, can you read me a bedtime story?
Please leave me alone! Go ask your dad!
Daddy! Look, I was outside playing and stepped in dog poop. See?
No! Stay away from me!
My nanny looked after me, mostly because my parents were super busy with their careers, and she always called me Miss. So I thought my real name was Stay Away From Me. It wasn't until my first day of kindergarten that I found out I was wrong.
And what's your name, sweetie?
Stay away from me.
Excuse me, what did you just say?
Stay away from me.
Next thing I knew, my parents and I were sitting in the principal's office. Sure, I got into trouble, but at least my parents used my name more after that. And when I was 4, something amazing happened. My sister Isabella was born, and she was beautiful.
Oh, I have the most beautiful daughter anyone could ask for.
I was so bummed by what she said that I stuck my tongue out at her. But I got over it soon enough. I finally had someone to play with. Or so I thought. You see, Mom didn't want me near Isabella. Shoo! Go away! But one night, Isabella couldn't sleep and was screaming at the top of her lungs. I crawled into her crib and began to sing her lullabies. And then, soon enough, she was sleeping peacefully. I felt like the best big sister ever, but we never had a shot at getting close because of the way my parents treated us. They were less busy with work now and spent all their time fawning over Isabella and spoiling her while completely ignoring me.
You know what I see in the mirror? I see 2 beautiful girls with unlimited potential. Oh, Anna, how long have you been standing here?
I was here first, brushing my hair. You didn't even see me?
They'd whisk Isabella off to the mall or spa, and one time they even took her to Paris while I was stuck with the neighbor and turned 9 cats. It bothered me a lot at first, but eventually I just kinda got used to it. But my parents were slowly turning Isabella into a monster who bullied them and threw a fit anytime she didn't get her way. She would try to boss me around too, but I mostly wouldn't give in, which didn't sit too well with her. Like this one time when I was in 5th grade, I was eating spaghetti, and she turned to me with a weird look in her eyes.
Spaghetti and worms taste the same, don't you think?
What? My stomach churned when I looked on my plate, and sure enough, there were worms mixed with my spaghetti.
Ew!
When I told my parents, they told me it was a harmless prank. Every time Isabella did something to me, they would make excuses for her and brush it off. Even the time she cut my head out of all the family pictures.
She's too young to know what she's doing.
She's just having fun. Lighten up.
The weekend before middle school, I bought this super cute outfit for my first day, and I couldn't wait to put it on. But when I was getting ready, I couldn't find it anywhere. That is, until I entered the kitchen, and there sat Isabella in my outfit.
Isabella, that's mine!
It looks better on me. I look like a doll.
I rushed over to Isabella and tried to pull my outfit off of her when Mom dragged me away.
Anna, what are you doing to your little sister?
I want her to take off my clothes.
Oh, Is that what you want? You should have said it nicely.
And then she took a pair of scissors and cut herself out of the dress.
Oh my god! You're such a psycho! Mom! Aren't you gonna say anything?
Yes, if you knew how to share your things, you could both enjoy them. But now look at what you made your sister do.
I could pull my hair out. There was no winning against this brat when she had some magic spell cast on my parents. As I grew older, I just avoided my family as much as I could and faded into the background. I decided to focus on what I loved singing, and I became quite good at it. But I only realized exactly how good I was when I was 16, 2 months before high school started. I'd taken up a small gig at a cafe to sing occasionally, and when I was done, a stunning lady approached me.
Hi, I'm Gigi. You have a beautiful voice. I'd like to sign you up as a singer.
What? You want me?
Yes, I could make you a star.
It was an offer I couldn't refuse. I gave Gigi my address, and when she arrived at my house later that evening, my parents were quite surprised, and Issa looked so jealous.
But why would you want to sign her up?
Because she's talented.
But her looks?
Can be altered to look the part.
What do you mean, altered?
By the time my people are done with you, you won't even recognize yourself, kiddo.
The following week, I went to the studio with Gigi, and I felt like I was in a dream. And after rehearsals, Gigi's makeup artists took over, and she was right. I barely recognized myself. I looked amazing. When I got home, Mom looked shocked.
Oh my god, Anna, you look stunning.
My heart flipped with excitement. Did my mother just give me a compliment?
As stunning as a chicken in a jumpsuit.
Later that week, Mom took me shopping. In fact, over the next 2 weeks, Mom and I spent a lot of time together. We went to spas, dinners, and we even spent a day in Paris. I'd picked up a few things there for Isabella, but when I went to give it to her, she dumped everything on my head.
You think you're better than me because of this music gig? Your days are numbered! Witch!
Did my baby sister just threaten me? I was too busy to think too much about what Isabella said. I worked hard and released my first album, and by the time I started high school, I was already famous.
Oh my god, her skin is flawless.
She's such an amazing singer. I can carry your books around.
But life just had to give me lemons, and this lemon was Mandy, the meanest and richest girl in school. She transferred to our school the year before and was the most popular girl around. But clearly, I dethroned her now because I had way more fans and social media followers than her, and she just couldn't handle it.
Others may have forgotten how ugly you really are, but I'll never forge. And I'll make sure the others don't, either.
I tried to ignore her and just enjoy my newfound fame. But of course, Mandy did everything to ruin it. This one time, after gym class, she filled my body wash with oil. Another time, she filled my bag with live frogs that went crazy in the science lab. She was a lunatic. And then, one afternoon, while walking through the mall, I saw Mandy and Isabella together. Mandy was shoving a dress into Isabella's hand and looking over her shoulder. Wait, was she trying to get Isabella to shoplift? I stormed over to them immediately.
Mandy, what are you doing with my sister?
Mind your business, Anna. She's my friend. And wait, way better than you.
Issa, she can't be that good. If she's trying to get you to steal clothes, you're coming with me?
But Issa bit my arm hard and ran off.
Stay away from my sister, Mandy!
But after that, I'd see the two of them together all the time. If they wanted to run their own Anastasia hate club, then fine. I had better things to focus on, like my very first concert that Gigi has arranged to boost album sales. On the night of the concert, my family came to support me, and I was so excited. I grabbed the mic, and I stepped onto the stage confidently. And I was totally owning it. Everything was going great until someone from the crowd screamed and pointed at the chandelier above me, which was falling down. One of my guitar players threw himself at me and managed to get me out of the way, seconds before the chandelier crashed on stage. Before I could even process what had happened, Gigi whisked me away to get me checked up at the hospital. A few days later, I came across the opportunity of a lifetime. There was one spot open in the most prestigious music college, and they'd be visiting the school in 3 months to hold auditions. I just had to get that scholarship.
You can drool on that spot all you want, but it's mine.
Gosh, why was the world always putting Mandy and me against each other? She played the piano, and she was good. Beethoven good. I couldn't let her win this. I threw myself into practice. After rehearsals with Gigi, I'd stay back in the studio and practice for my big day. One evening, while I was walking home from practice and saw Mandy picking a loaf of bread out of the trash. She's the richest girl at school, so why is she digging through garbage for food? I followed Mandy until she went into the bad part of town. The houses were small and shabby, and I watched as she entered one of them. What on earth? I needed to know what was happening, so I walked up to the door and was about to knock when I heard a familiar voice. Isabella.
I told you already. I'm done with this. I'm not doing your homework, shoplifting, or going out of my way to be your puppet.
Isabella was making Mandy do stuff. Feeling shocked, I pulled out my phone, opened the door by an inch, and started recording. What I heard next made my head spin.
You'll do as I say, or I'll spill your filthy little secret all over the internet.
I am so sick and tired of this. Tell everyone I don't care.
You the only so popular, Mandy, not caring what people think. Are you really comfortable with people knowing that your father is rotting in jail for fraud, while you and your mother are left with nothing and living in this rat hole? I find that hard to believe, given how hard you've been trying to keep up appearances in school.
I've done everything you've asked me to do since you read my diary and discovered my secret. You made me tamper with the chandelier at Anna's concert. She could have gotten seriously hurt. I should have never agreed to do it. It's been giving me nightmares.
But if you don't do as I say, I'll tell everyone what you did. Oh, yes, I recorded it. And then you'll go meet Daddy in jail.
Do your worst, Isabella. I don't care.
I watched in horror as Isabella picked up a bat and raised it at Mandy. I flung open the door and lunged at Isabella, not a bat from her hand, and pinned her to the ground.
Get off, you ugly jerk!
Did you completely lose your mind? What have I ever done to hurt you? How could my own sister hate me so much?
Because you overshadowed my life. You should have never been in the picture, and I'd do anything to bring you down.
Isabella lunged at me with a scream, but the commotion had attracted the attention of some neighbors who came running in and held Isabella. Someone called the police, who took her away kicking and screaming. I was still reeling with shock when Mandy turned to me.
You helped me. Why?
We may have our differences, but I couldn't let Isabella blackmail you or hurt you.
Thanks, Anna.
No problem. That's what friends are for.
Friends? Are we friends?
Maybe we could try. Crazier things have happened.
Hey friends, I'm Greta from New York. Please like and subscribe. I was born in a small town to a single mom who always celebrated my interests and made sure I felt valued since I was a little girl. I've always loved singing and performing, and Mom always supported me. When I was 8, I participated in my school's talent show with a singing act. I was so excited. But when I got on stage, the nerves hit me and I started shaking like a tree in the wind. And when I looked out into the audience and saw my mom smiling up at me, I knew I could face my fears and give a great performance.
Don't worry, honey. You've got this.
Okay? Yeah.
You're my honey bun.
I used to get some stage fright when I was younger. I loved singing more than anything in the world, but sometimes my nerves got the best of me. All of that went away after my friends told me how good I was.
You're like so talented.
Really?
Totally. I wish I could sing like you.
With my mom and friends supporting me, I felt unstoppable. So when all that was taken away, it was, well, difficult. When I was 13, I got the opportunity to audition for a prestige just performing arts high school called Cole House. I came in prepared with my very favorite song.
You're my honey bun, sugar plum, pumpy.
Incredible, superbly performed.
It had been my dream ever since I was 8 to attend. So I was thrilled when they offered me a spot the following fall semester. Cole House was all the way in New York City. I'd only ever been there once to see the Phantom of the Opera on Broadway, so the idea of going there to live was intimidating. It was a boarding school, so I would be away from home for the first time in my life. My home friends wouldn't be joining me. They were all staying back to start regular high school in her hometown, but they were so excited for me.
Go get them, Greta.
We can't wait for you to take NYC by storm.
It would also be the first time my mom and I lived apart. Though I hated the idea of being away from her, I knew I needed to follow my dreams. And of course, my mom was super supportive.
I'm so proud of you, honey.
She dropped me off at the train station and waved goodbye.
See you in a few months, my Broadway star.
As soon as I stepped foot in Manhattan, all sorts of doubts started creeping in. What if I don't make any friends? I'm not a good enough singer for performing arts high school. Maybe I should just go back home. My fears just got bigger and louder when I stepped foot in my new school. It was gorgeous, with high vaulted ceilings and brightly painted classrooms. Just as I was looking up at the beautiful stained glass windows, I was suddenly shot to the ground by a pretty girl.
Oh, sorry I didn't see you there.
How rude. Could she tell I was out of place here? I didn't have too much time to think about it because my first class started in 2 minutes. I ran down the hallway just in time for the bell to ring and sat down in the last open chair right across from the girl who shoved me. Just my luck.
I see you've met Lena. She's a pill.
A boy sitting right next to me with curly hair and a cute smile put out his hand.
Hi, I'm Daryl.
I'm Greta. Nice to meet you.
You must be new here.
Was it so obvious? It was like I had a sign on my forehead screaming, "New girl!" Daryl must have noticed my concern.
I just haven't seen you around here. Oh, I would have noticed a pretty girl like you.
Yeah, I just moved here from Scaniatolis.
Never heard of it.
It's a tiny town. I really love it there, but I couldn't miss the opportunity to go to school here.
Cole House is pretty incredible, and this is my favorite class. Mrs. Larimer is the bomb.
Just then, a tall woman with a long braid and huge brown glasses entered the room.
Hello, class. I see some familiar faces. I see some shiny new faces. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mrs. Larimer, and this is Singing for the Stage.
I looked around the classroom and saw a lot of smiling, eager faces. It seems like a lot of people really liked Mrs. Larimer.
I hear we have a new student in school this year. Class, let's give a big Cole House welcome to Greta.
Hi, Greta.
Nice to meet you.
Just then, Lena chimed in.
Can't wait to hear you sing.
I felt like she was taunting me, like she felt she was better than me. What was this girl's problem? Before I could think about it too much, Mrs. Larimer was addressing the class.
Who's ready to present their audition cut?
All of a sudden, every student reached into their backpack and pulled out binders full of sheet music. I looked down into my backpack. There was nothing but a pencil box, a notebook, and a bagged lunch in there.
Did you not bring your music book?
I couldn't believe Lena was calling me out in front of all these people. I just wanted to blend into the brightly colored wallpaper.
Don't worry, it's your first day. No one expects you to be ready to perform.
Greta, it's your first day, so we'll give you some time to settle and you can perform for us next week.
Thanks, Mrs. Larimer. I shot a look at Lena so she would get the picture to just leave me alone. She caught my eye and smiled. What? Why would she tease me and then smile? What kind of mind games was she playing? Still holding my gaze, Lena's hand shot up in the air.
I'm ready, Mrs. Larimer.
Great, Lena, you have the floor.
Lena gave the pianist her sheet music and started singing. I wanted to hate it, but she had an unmistakably gorgeous voice. When she finished singing, the class applauded.
Great job, Lena. I can tell you've been keeping up with your vocal exercises this summer.
Mrs. Larimer gave Lena some constructive criticism, but I was distracted. I felt like screaming. Yeah, she has a beautiful voice, but that doesn't give her an excuse to be rude. But I just kept it bottled up inside, sitting politely.
Who would like to go next?
I wondered how anyone could feel confident following such a great performance. I would certainly be intimidated singing after Lena. I was wary of her, but there was no denying that she was a beautiful singer. Before I had too long to think about it, Daryl was standing up from his chair.
I'll go, Mrs. Larimer.
Daryl handed his sheet music to the pianist and sang a little bit to relay the tempo of his song. Even just hearing that much, I could tell Daryl was good, really good. The pianist nodded, and Daryl took his place in the center of the classroom. He looked at me and winked. I swear I turned bright red. Did everyone see that? Lena looked back at me, scowling. Daryl began his song. It was incredible. He sang with such confidence. The vibrations of his voice pulsated, making it feel like the room itself was breathing. I looked around, and I could tell everyone else was enjoying themselves as well. Everyone, that is, except Lena.
Well done, Daryl. That song really suits you.
Thanks, Mrs. Larimer.
Mrs. Larimer gave Daryl some adjustments and had him sing parts of the song over again. If this is what my new school was going to be like, just listening to cute boys sing, I had nothing to be worried about. I was starting to like it here. That evening, I was settling into my new bedroom in the dorms. As I was rounding the corner with some of my favorite snacks from the corner store, I heard a familiar voice.
Hi, Greta.
I couldn't believe it. Lena was my next-door neighbor. I was going to have to share a wall with her for the entire school year. I could feel my blood boiling under my skin. Hi, Lena.
Is this your first time in NYC?
She was smirking. What did she think she was better? Better than me just because she lived here longer than I did? I had to take a deep breath to control myself. No, actually, I came here to see Phantom of the Opera. Years ago.
I love Phantom. I've seen it like 7 times.
Okay, now she was bragging. Whatever, there was no reason to get worked up. I was just gonna remove myself from the situation. That's really cool for you, Lena. And then I shut my bedroom door. The following week, when I got into the singing for the stage class, I made sure to bring my very own music book with me. I was ready to finally perform for my new classmates.
Greta, over here.
I looked over to see Daryl beckoning me towards him. He had saved the seat next to him with his backpack. Wow, cute, talented, and thoughtful. This guy seemed too good to be true. Lena looked at Daryl from across the room and rolled her eyes. I plopped down in the seat Daryl saved for me. What was her problem with me?
Don't let Lena give you a hard time. This is kind of awkward, but she and I actually used to date.
I was shocked. How could such a lovely guy date such a cruel girl? As if he could read my mind, Daryl responded.
Yeah, I know. She was actually really nice when we started dating, and she has such a gorgeous voice. We loved singing duets together, but things didn't work out, and now it seems like she's taken it out on you. I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. I appreciate you telling me. I had so many more questions for Daryl, but before I got a chance to ask any of them, Mrs. Larimer came into the room.
Okay, class, let's get ready to sing. Greta, have you had time to prepare your audition cut?
I was ready. I had been practicing all weekend, but now I felt so nervous. I clutched my music binder to my chest, willing myself to disappear behind it.
Break a leg, Greta.
My vision blurred until all I could see was Lena's stupid, big, smug face smirking up at me. All of a sudden, I felt like I was 8 years old again. My voice caught in my throat, and I couldn't stop my hands from shaking. Wished my mom was here to give me a reassuring smile. I longed for words of support from my home friends. I searched for Daryl among the sea of unfamiliar classmates, hoping he would provide me with some fortitude. He'd been so sweet to me this past week. He was the only person who seemed interested in being my friend. But when I scanned the room, I was shocked to see Daryl flirting with another girl.
Oh, Daryl, you're so funny.
She was giggling and looking up at me. Was I being paranoid, or were they making fun of me? Tears started in my eyes and my throat clamped down. I don't be able to sing a single note. I ran out of the classroom before my body betrayed me, and I let anyone see me cry. I ran down the hallway and slipped into the bathroom. I was finally alone. Leaning against the cold door, I let the sobs escape.
Greta, is that you?
What the heck was she doing here? Did she just want to rub it in? How I came all the way to NYC and couldn't even sing in a singing class? I felt like my brain was a volcano and lava was about to seep out of my ears. Lena, leave me alone. Haven't you already done enough?
What are you talking about?
I know I'm a failure. You don't need to tell me.
You're not a failure. You know, my first time in singing for the stage, I got so nervous I sang my whole song off key.
What? Was Lena trying to console me? Why are you telling me this?
Because I like you, and I don't want you to feel embarrassed.
You like me? Then why have you been tormenting me all week?
Tormenting you? What are you talking about?
You tripped me on my first day.
I didn't mean to trip you. I'm nearsighted and my glasses haven't come in yet.
I didn't see you until I ran into you.
I'm so embarrassed.
Oh well, what about when you talked down to me in the dorms?
I just wanted to get to know you. You seemed so cool, and I was new last semester, so I know how scary it can be to make new friends. I didn't mean to make you feel belittled. I'm sorry.
But Daryl said you didn't like me because you and him used to date.
Oh, that's so like Daryl. He pursued me last semester when I was the new student. I was so excited to make a new friend, and then it got romantic. But as soon as another new girl started here, he broke up with me. It's like he only has eyes for new girls. I just try to ignore him, but it's difficult because he has so many friends, and I just know he's telling them his own story about why we broke up.
I was remembering my first week with a whole new perspective. Suddenly, every mean thing Lena did to me was a misunderstanding or a kind gesture. I felt so foolish to have believed Daryl. I emerged from behind the bathroom stall and looked at Lena with new eyes. She looked so apologetic. I embraced her in a big hug, and before I knew it, we were both laughing at how silly the past week had been.
Do you think you're ready to get back to class?
Yeah, actually, when we got back to Mrs. Larimer's classroom, I could tell Daryl had been talking about me. Suddenly, his smile wasn't sweet, but a cruel smirk.
Hi, Greta. I'm glad to see you back in class. Are you ready for your song?
Seeing Daryl, I felt that familiar feeling of dread wash over me. But I looked over at Lena, and she gave me a reassuring nod and a warm smile. I'm ready. I closed my eyes and started to sing. I felt a quiver in my voice at first, but then it got stronger and stronger, and soon I was just lost in the lyrics and the music. When the last note ended and I opened my eyes, everyone erupted in applause. Some people stood up while cheering and clapping, and some people were crying, including our teacher. Even Daryl looked stunned.
Greta, your voice is so pure and beautiful. I think I can say for everyone that you've really moved us, and we're honored to have you here.
Lena leapt forward and gave me a bear hug, and finally, I felt at home at my new school.
Hi, I'm Miriam from London. Please like and subscribe. I lived with my parents and my grandma on my dad's side. Grandma was a millionaire, so we lived in a mansion with a pool and even a tennis court. But Grandma was also the meanest lady on the planet, except to me. When Mom made dinner, everything tasted wrong.
I've never eaten rice this overcooked. I might as well eat bleach for dinner.
But one time, I made Grandma a mustard sandwich and she was blown away.
Look at you, already cooking at 10 years old. My granddaughter is the smartest girl on the planet.
Grandma also showered me with expensive gifts constantly. One time, I helped Dad clean the floors, and Grandma bought me a TV for my room.
Look at you doing your chores. This is what you get for being an angel, darling.
Grandma scolded Mom and Dad for not spoiling me the way she did.
Miriam had a fever yesterday. You two cheapskates couldn't hire a singer or a boy band to entertain her.
Even though she was a jerk to everyone around her, I loved being Grandma's little gem. Whenever my parents got mad at me, I had my grandma to hide behind.
What is this? D on your biology test? Miriam.
Grandma, Mom's yelling at me.
How dare you put that kind of pressure on Mariama? Sweetie, you don't have to study if you don't want to.
My parents really wanted me to become a doctor. When I grew up, they would get me all sorts of medical toys. But all I was ever interested in was paints, clays, and brushes. I often imagined myself as a famous painter and pretended to take a veil off a painting I made. Everyone would tell me I was the next Picasso, and I'd say, "Oh, you're all too kind." One day in 9th grade, I decided to sign up for a painting class, but my dumb parents said I had to take chemistry.
It's time you start taking school seriously, young lady.
We've had enough of your art nonsense.
That was it. I opened my mouth and started to scream. Mom and Dad covered their ears.
What is the matter with you? Are you a toddler?
I think I lost my hearing.
Grandma, they're being so mean to want to take biology. I want to paint.
You two should be ashamed of yourselves. Miriam is obviously an art prodigy and should be painting as much as she wants.
We'll compromise then. You will take biology class, but we'll hire a tutor to give you private art lessons.
Really? Really? Oh, thank you so much. I knew I was being a little bratty, but if I could take private art lessons, so be it. My art tutor turned out to be a girl from my school. Her name was Layla, and she was in the 11th grade. And I didn't mind having her for my art tutor at all. She was one of the most popular girls in school and looked like a supermodel. I'd always heard about her, but I never got to talk to her before.
I'm gonna help you become one of the greatest painters. Soon you won't even need to go to school anymore.
I sure hope you're right. I didn't know you were an artist, Layla. No one ever said anything.
Nobody really knows me at all, really. I think I'm only popular because of how I look, but I don't have any real friends.
Layla and I spent an hour painting and talking, and Layla was right. She wasn't like most popular girls at all. In fact, she was a little weird. One time, I decided to paint my entire face green, just to see what it would look like. All right then, so I guess we're done for today.
Actually, I wanted to ask you something. My parents are on vacation for like 6 months, so I'm all alone in my house. Can I stay at your place? I'll help out around the house and give you triple the art lessons.
Triple the art lessons? I was gonna make sure Layla could live with us. Oh, for sure. I just gotta talk to my grandma. But my parents happen to be in the same room as Grandma, and they wouldn't have it.
Some stranger living in our home? Are you crazy?
Might as well invite a robber to live with us.
You guys are so unfair. She said she's gonna give me triple the art lessons. Grandma, tell my parents to stop being jerks.
Miriam's right. You two are heartless people, not letting a friend of Miriam's into our home, not letting her follow her dreams. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
I knew then Layla was gonna stay with us for as long as I wanted her to. But as time passed, I didn't just do art with Layla. I also talked to her for hours.
Miriam, how come your grandma's such a bully?
She's a bully to everyone, but not to me.
Don't you worry, one day she'll bully you too.
No, Grandma loves me.
You know, you're kinda naive, Miriam. Sort of like a kid.
I am not.
No, it's a good thing. I wish I was more like that.
Layla said the most confusing things, but I loved every moment I spent with her. Even at school, being with Layla was an adventure. She would do the weirdest things.
Miriam, come with us to the boys' bathroom. We're gonna tape anonymous love letters on the wall.
Are you crazy? Why?
'Cause it'll drive them crazy.
When no one was looking, Layla leaned over to me and whispered,
"Consider this your most important art, how to win over the boy you love."
But I don't like any boys.
Or maybe boys don't like you. You're too. I don't know what the word is.
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know. Boys just maybe aren't into you. Like I said, you're kinda young for your age.
Layla taped her anonymous love letter to the wall and left me inside the boys' bathroom. I was mad after Layla said that. I even refused to talk to her after school.
Come on, Miriam. Don't be so sensitive. I didn't mean anything by it.
You insulted me. Maybe you are just another mean, popular girl.
I'm sorry. You're right. Sometimes I say stupid things. Sometimes I think there's something wrong with me.
What do you mean? Layla didn't answer. Instead, she took me to this gorgeous hiking trail to paint. I forgot all about our conversation. Layla, do you think I can win the Easter drawing contest, become the best artist in the world, and maybe even drop out of school?
It doesn't work like that, silly. I was kidding when I said that maybe you'll never be a great painter.
You don't think I'll ever be a great painter?
I don't know, really. But did you know that you're the best student I've ever had? Maybe you won't become a famous painter, but you can win the Easter drawing contest and become famous for something else.
Why was Layla always speaking in these weird riddles? Layla helped me a lot, and in the end, with my own effort and her dedication, I won the Easter drawing contest. After the contest, I felt closer to Layla than I had ever felt to anyone before, even though she was still a mystery. Then 10 months later, Grandma started picking on Layla one day. It was totally out of the blue at dinner time.
Dear, I assume your parents are successful painters?
No, ma'am. It's just me who likes to paint. My parents are doctors. But like I said, now they're on vacation.
On vacation? For almost a year, and you haven't displayed your paintings in galleries, started a business, and made something of yourself?
Ma'am, I'm only 17.
By the time I was 17, I was already starting my own startup. Your freeloader is what you are.
Grandma!
Excuse me, but I think I'll go to my room now.
I watched Layla get up from the table as her eyes filled with tears. Why was Grandma being so cruel all of a sudden? I was used to her bullying my parents, but Layla, I could barely stand it. I jumped up to follow Layla. Layla, wait! Don't take what Grandma said to heart. I told you she can be mean sometimes.
Your grandma's right. Miriam, I have to tell you something.
What is it?
I lied before. My parents aren't on a trip. The truth is, I am homeless. After my parents died, I tried going to an orphanage. But they didn't take care of me, so I ran away. And I've been living on the streets so far. I've been able to keep it a secret at our school, but I'm worried one day they'll find out.
Oh, Layla, I had no idea. Listen, if I tell Grandma about your situation, she'll understand. She always agrees with whatever I say, no matter what. But when I told Grandma Layla's story, her face turned white with anger. She looked like a statue.
I want her out of my house. Miriam, I can't believe I ever agreed to let a filthy child criminal into my home. She leaves today, and I'm calling the police.
Grandma, you can't do that. It wasn't her fault. I want her to stay here and teach me art. She's the bestest friend I've ever had. And for the first time ever, Grandma turned her anger on me.
You don't know what you're saying, Miriam. You're just a silly child. Layla leaves my house today, like it or not.
Then something inside me burst. Grandma, I've had enough of your cruelty. You bully everyone around you, and I'm sick of it. You have no idea what Layla's gone through, and you have no idea what she means to me. Without waiting a split second, I ran back to my bedroom to find Layla, but she wasn't there. Where had she gone? All of a sudden, I saw Layla outside the window with a backpack. She was walking farther and farther away from our house. I dashed outside. Layla, where are you going? Layla just ignored me and kept walking. I ran up to her and grabbed her arm. Layla, please don't leave. You were right about Grandma. She is a bully, and I finally stood up to her. I don't care about what she wants. I care about you, Miriam.
I think you better forget about me. It's for the best.
What do you mean? I could never forget about you.
You're not my family, Miriam. I don't have any family. Nobody loves me. I'm just your art teacher. That's all I ever was.
Before I could say another word, Layla left. I tried chasing her. I never knew someone could run so fast. But after miles of sprinting, I collapsed on the ground and I burst into tears. I didn't get home until midnight. Grandma and my parents stood in the living room next to our giant, fancy fireplace. Grandma's eyes looked like they were on fire.
You spoiled, awful child. Yelling at me and then vanishing out into the night. I should have you locked up in jail.
Okay. Let's go easy.
She made a mistake. She's still your sweet Miriam, isn't she?
She was my sweet Miriam. That was before she became friends with a dirty homeless and spoke back to me. And if she keeps painting, she'll be a dirty homeless too.
I don't care what you say, Grandma. I am going to keep painting, even if I do end up poor.
Why don't you show me a few of your paintings then?
I will. I'm really good in my room. I grabbed every painting of mine I could find. Here, look at how many paintings I've done. And you know what? I'm proud of them.
Wow, honey, we didn't know you did that many.
They look beautiful.
Oh, darling. Let me see.
Then suddenly, Grandma tossed my paintings into our giant fireplace. No!
Mom, how could you?
I threw myself on the floor and cried harder than ever. My beautiful paintings were gone, and Layla was gone.
That's it. That was the last straw. We're moving out of your mansion. We're tired of your cruelty.
That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. You can't live without my fancy riches.
But the very next week, my parents and I packed up our stuff and moved into a new place. It was smaller, and it didn't have a tennis court, and I still couldn't stop thinking about Layla and where she could be. Then one day, I found a letter taped to my window. It was signed with Layla's name. Meet me at our hiking trail. I took the very next bus to our trail and tried calling Layla's name, but there was no answer. Then suddenly, who should I see but Grandma? Grandma, what on earth are you doing here?
Darling, I wrote the note taped to your window. I was afraid you wouldn't come to meet me otherwise. And I remembered this was your favorite place to come with Layla.
You mean Layla isn't here? I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to her.
Sweetie, I'll do anything to help you find her. But first, I want to apologize for being so awful to you and burning your paintings. I love you, sweetheart.
Grandma started to cry and came over to hug me.
I've been a bully your whole life to your parents and now to you. After I saw your face when I burned your paintings, I realized I wanted to change. I love you, Miriam.
I love you too, Grandma, but it's gonna take me some time to forgive you.
I understand. I don't expect you to ever forgive me, but know that I'm here, and my house is always open to you. And if you do ever find Layla again, you both can move back in with me. I'll adopt her.
Grandma left at that moment, and I stood in the middle of the hiking trail, and then suddenly, I saw Layla sitting on top of a rock. Layla! But as soon as Layla saw me, she started to run up the hiking trail. I chased her as fast as I could, but she was just running and climbing higher. Please wait up.
Go away, Miriam.
Layla, please don't run away from me. I raced up the hiking trail and tried to catch up with Layla, but she was so far ahead of me, I couldn't even see her. Suddenly, I heard a loud cry from above. I looked up to see Layla stuck between two rocks. She looked like she was ready to fall.
Please, someone help me.
Layla, I'm here! Hang on! I rushed to Layla as fast as I could and tried to pull her up, but she wouldn't budge.
My hand is slipping. Do something.
I grabbed Layla with all my might, and she was finally free. Layla and I fell on top of each other and started laughing, but suddenly, Layla looked at me.
Miriam, you're all scratched up.
It's fine, Layla. I don't care. What matters to me is that you're okay. I couldn't live without you.
Really? I mean that much to you?
Yes! You're the most amazing friend and teacher I've ever had. I used to be so bratty and babyish. I had my grandma to run my whole life, but you've changed me. Even though we're not related by blood, you are my family.
Do you really mean that?
Yes, Layla, I talked to my grandma. She apologized for everything. And she said if I ever found you, she'd adopt you.
Oh, Miriam, that's the best news I've ever heard. We'll paint up here every day. I'll teach you everything.
We will. Even if we're never famous, I'll always keep painting with you. I love you, Layla.
I love you too.
Hi, I'm Kate from New York, and this is my story. Please like and subscribe. I was born to the CEOs of a multi-million-dollar aerospace company. I grew up with everything a kid could want, and then some. But I was practically raised by my nannies. Since my parents were always busy, they tried to make time for me. But I didn't really have their attention, and I craved it. I think that's why I was in such a hurry to start talking. I was forming my first words when I was only 1, and by the time I was 2, I could speak short sentences. And once I started talking properly, a rocket couldn't have stopped me.
How was your first day of school, honey?
Oh, it was so good. I felt kind of scared. But then the teacher with the black hair and the green eyes and the big ears came and took me to class. And my classroom is so nice and it's all yellow and there was 21. No, 20 kids. And they're all my friends. That's because I gave them all markers. And my first class was about alphabets, and it was boring. And then I saw a boy's butt crack, and I started laughing at it, and the teacher looked mad. But then...
Sweetie, that's lovely. Why don't you just eat your food?
Now I was at the best part, Daddy. Now I have to start again. Okay, so my first day of school. I just had this need to interact with people. I chatted to strangers in the park, at the grocery store, at the cinema. When my friends came over for playdates, I had tried to make them stay as long as I possibly could. But you haven't seen our basement yet. It's really cool, and I think it's haunted. And you still haven't met my imaginary friends. Okay, how about I show you my magic tricks? I even talked to people in my sleep. My parents found me exhausting, and soon my teachers started complaining about my disruptive behavior in class. I was tested for ADHD, but there wasn't anything wrong with me.
She's very bright and just seeks attention a little more than other kids. It's not uncommon in an only child, and she'll grow out of it. Do you spend quality time with her?
Well, we try.
But we're very, very busy.
The doctor recommended some activities we could do together every day, but of course my parents couldn't keep up. Then one day, when I was 8, my whole life changed. I got home from school to find my parents in the living room with a beautiful older girl who didn't look very happy.
Kate, we have some exciting news. Come meet Lola. She's 11 and she's your new sister.
She's my sister? But I didn't see your tummy growing. Mom, where does she come from? Why is she so big? Why is her hair red? What?
Honey, she's our employee's daughter and we've adopted her. I'll explain to you later what that means. Why don't you say hello and show her to her room?
Lola still hadn't spoken a word, but I talked nonstop as I took her hand and led her away. And then she shut my mouth with a huge ice cream. She didn't even come down for dinner later. My parents said she just needed time to adjust and I should give her space. I tried really hard, but I just couldn't fall asleep and crept into her room. I quietly opened the door and found her sitting next to a carton, crying. Lola, what's wrong?
Nothing. I was just looking at some old things and it made me sad.
Ooh, space boots.
My dad got them for me when I was your age. I always wanted to be an astronaut.
Well, you should. It'll be so cool.
Yeah, but my dad won't be there to see me become one.
As the tears rolled down her cheeks, I suddenly hugged her tight and she didn't push me away. I'll be there to see you take off on a rocket. I'll always be there for you, Lola. Lola smiled, then suddenly hopped onto the armchair and held out a hand to me.
Want to take a closer look at the Milky Way? Welcome aboard the North Star Express.
We imagined flying through the universe, dodging meteors and alien spaceships, and it was the best night of my life. And I quickly grew to love Lola. She had long red hair that she let me braid as much as I wanted. She'd play with me whenever I asked, even if she was in the middle of something. And soon, I became as obsessed with everything space-related as she was. Lola was an excellent student too, and she helped me with my studies. But my teacher still complained about my behavior, and Lola had a solution for that too.
I used to get really scared of making speeches in class, so my dad showed me a trick. I'd hold on to a penny so I could channel all my fear into it. It totally works. So whenever you feel the urge to talk during lessons, just hold on to this and channel all your energy into it and save all your stories for me.
My parents were so proud of my progress, and they adored Lola. Life seemed perfect. But then Lola started high school, and everything started changing. She cut her beautiful hair short and changed her wardrobe. And when I asked her to do something with me, she always had an excuse.
I have a club meeting after school. I'm meeting up with a couple of friends. I have a paper to finish. Sorry.
On the weekends, she started interning at my parents' company, and we spent no time together. But the perfect opportunity came on my 13th birthday, when my parents gifted me tickets to an amazing space park and even arranged a hotel stay for me and Lola. I'd barely seen her at home lately, so the next day at school, I ran over to her at recess. Hey Lola, guess what we're doing on my birthday? We're going to Space World, and we'll have the whole weekend to ourselves. Woohoo!
This weekend? I completely forgot it was your birthday. I am going to a concert with my friends.
What do you mean? It's my birthday. Birthday.
Well, we can do it another weekend.
But how could you forget? If you won't come to Space World, then at least take me to the concert with you.
No way! No toddlers allowed!
Of course I'm not bringing her.
We always spend our birthdays together. Lola, what's wrong with you? You've changed so much. And now...
Will you stop being a baby? The universe doesn't revolve around you. I have a life and it doesn't have to include you all the time. Why can't you make friends of your own? You're being annoying.
Lola had never spoken to me that way before, and I ran off before she could see my tears. I hid in the janitor's closet and was crying my eyes out when suddenly I jumped out of my skin. A boy from my class, Jamie, was sitting on a bucket and casually eating his lunch. What are you doing here?
I could ask you the same thing.
I'm crying. Can't you see?
I'm eating a sandwich, can't you see? Do you want one?
This is really not a good sandwich.
Oh, I know that. And I have to eat 2 every day. My sister never eats her lunch because she hates it. And I don't want to hurt Mom's feelings.
But why are you hiding in the closet? Aren't you one of the cool skateboarding kids?
Yeah, but I like being alone sometimes. I have 3 older sisters, and the youngest one who practically lives in my room. She's so annoying.
My house is almost empty, and my sister's too busy for me. She's like you. I guess she finds me annoying now.
Yeah. So how about you back off a bit? And dude, your house sounds like heaven.
Jamie and I became friends that day, and soon I started inviting him over. We play video games and have catching fish matches. He even taught me how to skate. And maybe he was right. I just needed to give Lola some space to fix things between us. Except they got so much worse. Over a few months, Lola changed into this person I no longer recognized. She suddenly ended the internship, saying she didn't want to work at my parents' company anymore. One day, I walked past her room to see that she'd torn down her Neil Armstrong poster and replaced it with Justin Bieber. She was never home for dinner because she was out with her friends, and even her grades began to suffer. Late one night in 9th grade, when my parents were away, I woke up to some sound and spotted Lola outside in the garden, kissing a strange boy. I sneaked out to get a closer look, but then they both climbed onto his bike and left. I hopped onto my skateboard and rode fast to keep up. And to my surprise, they ended up outside my parents' company and then started putting on ski masks and gloves.
We don't have a lot of time. The security guards will be coming by in an hour. I'll get you into the system, and you have to make sure the software is completely wrecked. Okay?
Are you sure about this?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay, just checking. It'll only take me 30 minutes, babe.
Hold it! What do you think you're doing, Lola?
Kate, did you follow me here?
Yeah, and good thing I did. Are you insane? Why are you planning on wrecking our parents' software?
Your parents are not my parents, and there are things you won't understand.
I'm not a kid anymore, so try me.
You wouldn't believe me if I did, but trust me, your parents deserve this.
After adopting you and raising you as their own kid?
They only adopted me to be your companion. They were too busy to deal with you themselves, so they dumped you on me.
That's what I am, a burden you got dumped with. I thought I was your sister, and you've been my everything. I've always looked up to you, and now I don't even know who you are.
I didn't ask you to make me your role model, and you're right. You don't know me, and you don't even know your parents.
What do you mean? Please, Lola, let's just go home and talk, okay? I'm not letting you into that building anyway. I'll call security myself this minute if you try. Lola looked furious, then took her boyfriend's hand and left with him. Feeling shaken, I was riding back on my skateboard when I missed a speed bump and went flying. My head hit the ground and everything went black. When I woke up, I was in the hospital with my parents, Lola and Jamie in the room.
Oh, thank God you're finally awake.
We still can't believe that you went out riding alone so late at night. If Lola hadn't found you.
I looked over at Lola, sitting with her head hanging, and then she quietly left. I was discharged soon from the hospital, and I knew I just had to talk to Lola soon. But the next morning, when I went to her room, she was gone. My parents reported her missing to the police, and they searched high and low, but it seemed like she'd just vanished. Mom, Dad, why do you think she was so mad at you guys? You must have some idea.
Sweetheart, we don't know really.
We'll find her, and whatever it is, we'll fix it.
But months went by with no news, and I almost gave up hope. I even shut out Jamie. And my grades were falling rapidly. I just wanted to know if my sister was okay. One rainy day, I was walking out of a coffee shop when I spotted a girl with red hair getting onto a bus, and she turned her face just a little. Lola! I started running after the bus, calling her name, but it just kept going faster. Suddenly, I slipped on a puddle and landed on the pavement. I looked up to see the bus getting smaller in the distance, and my heart broke all over again. Just then, someone helped me up. It was Jamie. He pulled me into a hug and I cried like a baby.
The girl on the bus that wasn't Lola. I got off that same bus and I saw her too. It wasn't her.
Do you think Lola's okay?
Yeah, I think so. She's almost a grown-up, Kate. You can't find her because she doesn't want to be found yet. Till then, you can have all 4 of my sisters.
I started hanging out with Jamie again, and slowly, I started getting better. By the time we graduated high school, we'd started dating. I began my degree in astrophysics because I still wanted to be an astronaut, just like Lola and I had dreamt. My parents asked me to visit them one weekend at their office. And when I entered, I was completely shocked to see Lola inside. She looked thinner, but as beautiful as always.
Kate, we were waiting for you to start. Lola is here because she's suing our company.
What? Why?
Because your parents are responsible for what happened to my dad.
What?
When I started working as an intern here, I wanted to know more about Dad's accident at work. I looked into his records and realized that he'd been working 80 hours a week. Sometimes he'd work both day and night shifts. I'd hardly see him at home. Because you guys worked him so hard, you caused his heart attack.
Lola, he never mentioned any medical condition in his records, and he requested to work overtime for extra money. It was his choice.
But it's way beyond the legal limit, and you should have never allowed it.
My parents stepped out of the room with their lawyer while my head was still spinning. When they returned moments later, my dad spoke.
We don't want to fight our daughter, and you're right, Lola. We never should have allowed that. We didn't realize the toll it might take on him. We'll pay whatever damages you've demanded with our deepest apologies. And we can't replace your dad, but you will always have a family to come to if you want it.
Lola teared up and left the room wordlessly, and I followed. No! You don't get to do that again. You're gonna leave without even speaking to me? If only you talked before.
I was so angry. I felt rage every time I thought about my dad and the life I never got to have with him. I don't want your parents' money. I just wanted to make them suffer. But I can see I've already done that. Maybe it was nobody's fault.
Just come home, please.
I can't, but I'll make plans to see you in a few days. I promise.
And she kept her word when she met me at a cafe a week later with a beautiful red-haired baby. Is this your daughter? Lola then told me that she'd moved to another town with her boyfriend, who she was still happily with, and she'd put herself through community college to study engineering and had also been working on the side.
I was so driven to save up for a lawyer to fight your parents, and I've caused everyone so much pain. Most of all you. I am so sorry.
You were in pain yourself, Lola. Just come back and be an astronaut with me.
I don't think that's my dream anymore, Kate. It hasn't been for a while. But I'm so proud that you're pursuing yours, and I'll be there to see you take off on a rocket, and I'll always be a part of your life. Hi, my name is Callista, and I'm from Seattle. Please like and subscribe. I don't remember my dad, because soon after I was born, my parents got divorced. Mom got full custody of me since I was only a baby. She moved to Seattle for a fresh start and started working at a big law firm, but I never knew what happened to my dad. Growing up, Mom worked really hard to look after me and never really had any time for herself. And since she had no other family, I made sure I loved her enough for everyone. Surprise! Happy birthday, Mom!
Oh, sweetie, you're the best daughter in the world. I love you so much.
Once, when I was 8, Mom took me to a picnic at a nearby park. As I was playing hide and seek with her, a girl came and sat right next to me. Hey, what are you doing? Go away! There's only room for one person to hide here.
Yeah, that's why you leave, because this is my spot.
Saying that, she elbowed me, and I fell to the ground flat on my butt. Ah! I grabbed her hair and she screamed. Minutes later, the adults came running, but instead of separating us, Mom freaked out seeing the man.
You, what are you doing here?
Oh, Amber, it's been so long. Where have you been? I tried to reach you, but oh my God, is this Callista?
He suddenly lifted me up in his arms.
Oh, honey, this is your stepsister Lisa and I. I'm your dad.
My what?
No, you're not. Get away from my daughter.
Mom snatched me from his arms and took me back home. Mom, what's happening? That man was my dad. Why are we running away from Dad?
Don't call him your dad. He's a terrible father, and he was a terrible husband. Just forget about him, okay?
She looked super mad and shut herself up in her room. The next day, when I was coming back from school, Dad was waiting for me with Lisa. He had gifts and balloons in his hand.
Oh, Callista, here you go. Listen, I'm sorry I didn't come to see you before.
Why? Why didn't you come to see me before?
Sweetheart, I can't tell you. It was just awful. But I'm here now. Please give me a chance to make it up to.
He seemed so sweet. and I couldn't help thinking that it would be nice to have a dad like the other kids. Just then, Lisa stepped forward and apologized to me.
I'm sorry, Callie. I shouldn't have hit you the other day. Dad told me you're my elder sister. Do you want to be friends?
I shook her hand, and we both smiled. Later, Dad took both of us for some ice cream, and we all had a blast. But when he dropped me back home, and I went inside, Mom went bonkers on me.
Oh my God, do you have any idea how worried I was? Callie, I went to pick you up but you weren't there. And now you're coming home with that jerk, and what's all this?
I'm sorry, Mom, but Dad came to pick me up at school and he got me all this. Suddenly, she snatched everything from my hand and shoved it into the fireplace. Mom, no!
He's trying to buy your love with all these gifts. He's not a good person, Callie, and he doesn't care about you.
Why do you say that, Mom? What did he do?
I can't tell you. It was awful. Just trust me, okay? He and his family are evil.
But Mom, Lisa is...
You think she's any good? No! Lisa and her mom are horrible people just like him. And now he's back thinking he can just take you away from me.
Mom burst into tears and fell to the ground. I went ahead and hugged her tight. I'm sorry, Mom. I had no idea they were so bad and that you'd be so hurt. Please don't cry. No one's taking me. I love you the most. That night, I snuggled into Mom's bed and slept with her. And she looked happy, but I couldn't stop thinking, what weren't my parents telling me? The next day, I was sitting in my classroom working on my project when Lisa came running to me.
Hey, sis! Dad asked me to give you these cupcakes, and we can hang out at lunch.
Go away, Lisa, and take your stupid stuff with you. I don't want anything to do with you ever again. I got up from my seat in anger, and somehow, my chair hit Lisa, and she fell to the ground with all the cupcakes all over her. Everyone gasped, and Lisa looked so embarrassed.
You're so mean, Callista. I'm gonna kill you.
She leapt forward and pushed my project model to the ground, smashing it to bits. I grabbed her hair, and we broke into a wild fight. The teachers came running and pulled us apart. And then our parents were called in. Dad was the first one to arrive, and he instantly hugged Lisa.
What happened, sweetie? Are you okay?
Mom was right. He didn't even look at me. He didn't care about me. And then Lisa told him I pushed her on purpose. That lying witch.
Callista, how can you hit your own sis?
She's not my sister, and you're not my dad. Do you understand me? Just stay away from me. I ran out of there in angry tears, and after that, even though Dad tried to talk to me, I completely refused to. But he still sent me gifts on Christmas and my birthdays that I always hid from Mom. For some reason, I just couldn't throw them away. Time went by, but Lisa was still there at school with me. And no matter how much I tried to avoid her, she'd somehow managed to always be in my face. In the 8th grade, we both joined the dance club. But when it was time to select the lead dancer for an upcoming event, the teachers chose me, and Lisa looked super pissed. A day before the competition, I was in the changing room when someone locked the door from outside and turned off the lights. What in the world? I tried to make my way around in the dark. Then I tripped over something and landed on the floor. Minutes later, Lisa and her nasty friends opened the door, and they were all laughing at me.
Seems like you won't be able to dance now, loser.
You witch! I'll make you pay for this. Ouch! I sprained my ankle pretty bad. And just like that, Lisa grabbed the role of the lead dancer. But I wasn't going to let her get away with it. While Lisa was performing on stage, I cut the cable wires and the music stopped. And so did Lisa. Her performance was spoiled, and I even paid some kids to throw rotten tomatoes and eggs at her. Seeing her screaming and running off the stage was awesome. A few weeks later, our school had organized an adventure camping trip that I immediately signed up for. And I was so annoyed to see Lisa had too. But the worst was when the teacher announced the teammates' names, and mine was frickin' Lisa. We both ran to the teacher and begged her to change that, but she just wouldn't.
It's either this, or you go back home because nobody else wants to switch.
This was a nightmare. When we went to our tent, I dropped my luggage on the right bed, but Lisa picked it up and threw it on the left. What are you doing?
If a wild animal comes in at night, the left bed is closer to the door. So he'll eat you first while I run away.
Huh? Why should I get eaten? You get eaten. Saying that, I picked up my luggage and put it back, and she kicked me. I kicked her right back, and we got into a fight. And just like that, our tent broke down. The teacher glared at us and made us sleep under the sky. The next day, we had to perform a few tasks as a team. The first one was tree climbing, but as I was climbing, Lisa pulled me down by my foot and I fell to the ground. She giggled and started going up, but I grabbed a handful of mud and threw it at her face. She lost balance and fell right next to me. Of course we were disqualified. With nothing to do, I decided to take a nap while Lisa sat by the lake. But all of a sudden, I woke up to screams. I went running and saw Lisa was in the lake struggling to swim, and everyone else was just watching. As I ran forward, someone tried to stop me.
There may be alligators in that lake. Wait for the teachers.
I just pushed her aside and jumped into the water, pulling Lisa out. The teachers came running and took us to the nurse, but thankfully, Lisa was completely unhurt, just really shaken. Later that night, Lisa came to the tent and just hugged me.
Thank you, Callista. If it weren't for you, I don't think I'd be here. Nobody tried to help me, not even my friends. But you did.
I couldn't let you torture the alligators in the water. And then we both burst out laughing. By the time we were back from the trip, Lisa and I had become good friends. Dad was there to pick her up after the trip, and Lisa told him everything. And then he walked towards me.
Oh, Callista, how can I ever thank you? You saved your little sister. Do you think you could give me another chance too?
Are you still not gonna tell me why you never got in touch? Mom won't tell me.
Then I can't either, sweetheart, but we can still get to know each other.
What was the big secret? I'm not sure, but maybe I'll try. The next week, Lisa and I spent time together in school, almost like besties. She even brought me cookies that her mom made especially for me, and I loved them. A few days later, she invited me for Christmas dinner at her place. At first, I was hesitant, but since Mom always worked extra shifts on Christmas and I mostly spent them alone, I decided to go. When I reached there, everything looked so amazing. Dad and Lisa were putting the decorations on the Christmas tree, and they looked so happy. I went in, and Lisa's mom opened the door, and to my surprise, she was very warm and welcoming to me.
Come in, darling. We've been waiting for you.
Merry Christmas, Mrs.
Oh, just call me Mom, Aunt, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Dad came running to me and hugged me too.
I'm so glad you came, Callie. You have no idea how long I've waited for us to get together as a family.
I was really touched by their lovely welcome. And when it was time for gifts, I saw they'd gotten me the best presents ever. Later, when we sat down for dinner and everyone was laughing and talking, I couldn't help thinking that this is what a perfect family felt like. Something I'd always craved for deep in my heart. But just then, the door flew open and Mom barged in.
How dare you people try to take my daughter away from me? Callie, I know these people tricked you into coming here. Let's leave now.
Mom took my hand and started pulling me out, but I pulled my arm away and stepped back.
Callie, what? What are you doing?
No one tricked me into coming here, Mom. I came because I wanted to, and these people aren't strangers. They're my family.
What are you talking about? Your dad never cared about you, and now these people have brainwashed you.
Amber, that's not fair.
You have your family. What do you want with mine?
Mom, stop. You brainwashed me. You always told me they were evil, but the last few weeks, I've received nothing but love from them. Today, I realized how happy it felt to be among family. And as much as I love you, I want this too. Mom, why can't I have both?
Well, you can't. You have to choose. It's me or him. Are you coming or not?
But when I didn't move, she stormed off angrily. I felt unhappy, but I wasn't going to let her emotionally blackmail me. Mom refused to talk to me for the next few weeks, and I did the same. She threw herself even more into her work, and I'd hardly see her around. But then one day, I got a call from her office. She'd fainted and been taken to the hospital. I called Dad, and immediately he took me there. The doctor said she'd overworked herself and had a breakdown.
Just make sure she rests for the next few weeks and has nothing to worry about.
Before I went to see Mom, I turned to Dad. I need to know. Just tell me what happened between you and Mom, please. Dad looked at me and sighed.
I didn't want to be the one to tell you this, Callie, but your mom became a bit crazy. She would throw tantrums over the smallest things, and she didn't trust me at all. We were miserable and fighting all the time. And once we got divorced, she was so possessive about you. She just changed her address and numbers and wouldn't let me see you. But I'm still sorry because I should have tried harder for you.
So finally I knew! I felt sad to hear Mom had been that way and how she had ended things with my dad. The next few weeks, I made sure Mom stayed put in that bed. Lisa helped me with all my schoolwork, while Dad made sure we had everything we needed. His wife even came over often to cook and clean for us. And I was so grateful that I didn't have to deal with all this alone. A couple of weeks later, I was reading by Mom's bedside when suddenly she took my hand.
Callista, I've had a lot of time to think, and I really owe you an apology, honey. I'm sorry for keeping you away from your dad. He did try to get in touch.
Mom, it's okay. I know. Dad told me everything.
I know I drove him away. And then I got even more bitter, and he'd moved on and married someone. It made me crazier, and you were all I had. I just didn't want you to get close to him. I think I need therapy. Callie, I know your dad cares about you, and it actually feels nice to know that there was someone to take care of us while I was sick. I'll be better. I won't make you choose again. You deserve a family.
So do you, and we're all here to help. I love you, Mom.